If we talk about the beauty of Vatican City, our mind would instantly shift into Michelangelo and Raphael. However, what if I told you that they weren't the only ones who contribute to the city? There was another genius who dramatically transformed Vatican to life. That artist is Bernini. Gian Lorenzo Bernini was born on December 7, 1598 in Naples. He was a sculptor, painter, and architect who is often considered the greatest Baroque artist. Bernini's artistic talent was evident since he was a child, and he was consistently supported by his father, Pietro Bernini, who was a respected sculptor at that time. At the age of 8, Bernini and his family moved to Rome, where his father had to work on commissions for Pope Paul V. During his life in Rome, Bernini learned a lot about art by working alongside his father. He also studied the works of great masters like Michelangelo and Raphael. Since sculpture was his primary focus, he learned a lot on Michelangelo's works like David and Pieta. To achieve the same lifelike realism in his sculptures, he spent a lot of time studying anatomy, hoping to be able to surpass Michelangelo. Bernini's first patron was Cardinal Scipione Borghese, the nephew of Pope Paul V. Since Bernini's father worked for the papacy, the cardinal interacted a lot with Bernini's father and later noticed young Bernini, who assisted his father. Over time, the cardinal was deeply impressed by Bernini's talent, and he introduced him to his uncle, Pope Paul V, to demonstrate his skill. When the Pope saw Bernini's great potential, he reportedly declared that Bernini would become the Michelangelo of his century. Around the age of 11, Bernini began working for Cardinal Borghese by creating decorative pieces for the Villa Borghese gardens. Then, in 1618, Bernini received his first major commission from the cardinal, Aeneas, Assisi, and Ascanius. During this period, he also received his first commission from Pope Paul V to create a bust of the Pope. In the year 1621, Pope Paul V had passed, and Bernini found himself working under the new papacy of Pope Gregory XV. Since the new pope wasn't particularly interested in art, Bernini received only one commission, to create a bust of the Pope. However, Bernini continued to produce major works for the Cardinal Borghese during this period: the abduction of Proserpina, Apollo and Daphne, and David. The reign of Pope Gregory XV ended in 1623, and Bernini later worked under Pope Urban VIII, who became Bernini's greatest patron. The Pope adored Bernini's works, and after calling him to court, he appointed him as the chief architect of St. Peter's Basilica, even though he didn't have much experience in architecture at that time. During the reign of Pope Urban VIII, Bernini received more than 30 commissions, including some of his greatest works, Baldachin of St. Peter, Tombs of Pope Urban VIII, and Fountain of the Triton. In other words, Bernini became the most powerful artist in Rome at that time, earning him the title Michelangelo of his era. Bernini's golden age lasted until the year 1644 when Pope Urban VIII died. Then, his longtime rival, Pope Innocent X, rose into the papacy. Since Urban VIII had been Bernini's biggest supporter, Pope Innocent X wanted to erase Bernini's influence from the Vatican. On top of that, Bernini's reputation took a major hit due to his disastrous bell tower project for St. Peter's Basilica, which caused a huge financial loss for the church. As a result, the Pope saw Bernini as a failure. Despite his fall from grace, Bernini's talent was undeniable. Even the Pope couldn't ignore it forever. Eventually, the Pope changed his mind and gave Bernini a chance to build the Four-River Fountain in Piazza Navona, a big comeback after Bernini's period of disgrace. When the reign of Pope Innocent X ended in 1655, things started looking up for Bernini. The new Pope, Pope Alexander VII, restored Bernini's control over St. Peter's Basilica. One of his most iconic works during this time was St. Peter's Square, which is one of the most recognizable landmarks in the world. It also serves as a grand entrance to St. Peter's Basilica and the spiritual heart of Catholicism. During this period, Bernini also caught the attention of King Louis XIV of France. The king personally invited him to Paris to design a new facade for the Louvre Palace. Unfortunately, French architects rejected his designs, saying that Bernini's Baroque style was too extravagant and too Italian for their taste. So yeah, the project never happened. By the time Pope Alexander VII died in 1667, Bernini's career still continued under three more popes, Clement IX, Clement X, and Innocent XI. But as time passed, his influence began to fade due to the rise of younger artists and shifting artistic trends. However, he still received smaller projects and was sometimes consulted on matters related to St. Peter's Basilica. Bernini's final work before his death in 1680 was Salvator Mundi, completed in 1679. After Bernini's death, the Baroque era moved to more restrained and classical style. Although Bernini is long gone, his legacy is still visible in Rome today.